Hello. So I am Jad, and I'm making Dawn of Rocketry. So the reason I'm making this channel is for several reasons, but I'll start off with the main ones. So I like rockets, and I want to do something with rockets in the future. I want to be a rocket scientist, astronaut, whatever. So I want to research it. I find it very interesting, and I want to learn more about it. But I'm also thinking I want to document the journey of learning all of these concepts, all of these scientific terms, everything. So, what I'm going to do is make this YouTube channel where I digest scientific papers, I read articles, whatever. I research rockets, right? And then I try to simplify the terms, maybe explain them in full detail if that's what people want, and then try to explain it back to my channel to try to make others interested in the same thing I am, rockets, because I find that super cool, and sharing it would be much more interesting. It would be much more entertaining as well. It would also force me to really understand all of these terms because I need to tell them back to somebody. I need to explain them, which I think would be super productive for me. And I think a YouTube channel is a perfect place to do that. So that's probably the biggest reason. Second of all, I would like to have people help me as well, because I think people on the internet, maybe not on the beginning, but if I reach an audience where some people know more about this than I do, which there are a lot of people that do, I'm completely in the dark here. So if I make a mistake or I explain something in a bad way, it would be super cool to have this feedback where people can correct me. And having the opportunity to have that sounds great. And like, it would help me in my journey so much. Also, it gives me kind of motivation to keep learning more and more. Because if I even have like a few people who are interested and want to follow along on this journey, um, I can't just let them down. So of course I gotta read this new thing, even though I'm not a big fan of reading. So that'll give me much more of a reason to do this. Also, I want to get into a pretty prestigious uh, university. Um, for now, I'm still debating which one, and having this proof that I actually have an interest in these concepts, these terms and stuff, science, physics, math, which are some of my favorite like classes, and uh, I love learning about them, even if sometimes in school it's a bit boring. But I do love learning about them. I learn about them in my free time, so it would be awesome to share that. So I hope you would come along with this journey with me. Uh, I'll just jump on now. So I want to start in a level where we both know the same amount of stuff. If you're a complete beginner, awesome, you can learn this stuff with me. So the only thing I really know now is the fact that thrust is determined by how much of the mass, how much of the liquid or gas is being ejected out per second. So, like, they want to try to make as much of the gas or liquid or whatever, fuel, let's just say fuel, they want to get as much of the fuel out as possible, like as much fuel out as possible, as quickly as possible. So they need to make this fuel eject out super fast, and a lot of it needs to be ejected at the same time. And also, there's something I'm not super sure about, but it's called the rocket equation. All I know is from Neil deGrasse Tyson. I think that's who it was that explained that you need to get this payload, which I am assuming is the amount of weight you have, to space. But the more fuel you use, the more payload you need to get to space, which means you need more fuel for that fuel to get the fuel into space, which needs to super optimize the amount of fuel you use in time. So like we need to like the speed that the fuel gets out is, from like what I'm understanding, is super important, because that way you get as much value of each of the fuel, uh like you get as much value from it as possible, since it's being ejected out faster, which improves the speed, the force being applied to the thrust, like more thrust. Yeah, so that's basically all I know. Now we're basically the exact same starting place. If you know nothing about rockets, perfect. We can try to understand this stuff together. So I hope you'll join me, and hopefully see you next video. I don't know.